The purpose of this little video is to show you how to put a frequency distribution into your graphing calculator, calculate the standard deviation and the variance using your 1var stats. Okay, so we were given the class limits, we were given the frequency, and I've gone ahead and calculated the midpoints just like you would need if you're doing this by hand. Have the midpoint 10 is used 3 times. So you'd have 10, 10, 10. 15 is 5 times. Okay, and then so on down the list. And then you could take that list, put all that in L1, run your 1var stats, and you would be able to see the standard deviation. Okay, instead of doing it that way, we're going to enter this in 2 lists because we've calculated the midpoints and the frequencies are already given. So we're going to put the midpoints in L1, and we're going to put the frequencies in L2. Okay, and then when you do your 1var stats, okay, when you hit L1, you're telling the calculator, okay, these are the values that we want to run these statistics on. Okay, when you type a comma and enter a second list, the calculator understands that that second list is how many times each of those L1 numbers showed up. So it knows, oh, the 10 showed up 3 times. Oh, I need to use 5 of those 15s and 15 of the 20s and so on. Okay, so that's what the calculator is saying. So it might look a little bit funny, but that's how the calculator reads it. Okay, those of you running the newer calculator, when you do your 1var stats, you have your list, and that will be your L1, and then you'll have freq list, frequency list, which would be your L2. And then when you put those into your calculator, okay, edit, and there are the 2 lists. Not the easiest thing to see. Okay, and then we'll do stat, we'll calculate 1var L1 comma L2 on this calculator. If you're running a newer calculator, you do it slightly different. Okay, and there we go. We can see the standard deviation now is 5.074. We're going to round it off to 5.1. And then to get our variance, we're just going to square that. So we'll take the 5.1 squared, and we get 26.01. Okay, which we can round off as 26.0 to 1 decimal place. Okay, the reason that your textbook asks for the variance first is simply because if you're calculating these by hand, you're using a method where you're given the classes, you're given the frequencies, you calculate the midpoints, then you do a few more calculations, bring that into a formula, and you end up with your S squared, or your variance, and then you take the square root to get your standard deviation. So it does it in the opposite order, whereas when you do it on your calculator, you actually see the standard deviation and then square it to get the variance.